Daf Yomi, Tractate, Sanhedrin, page 101A, top of the page, with the words Shidato Ketzara. Sanhedrin Kuf Aleph Ben Aleph, top of the page. This, by the way, is the first daf that I'm doing in the land of Israel, which I just moved to. Baruch Hashem, thank God. And first daf in Jerusalem, the holy city. Shidato Ketzara v'tov lev mishetamid ze shidat rechava. V'amar Yehoshua ben Levi kol yimei ani roim v'oiker Shabbos es yomim tovim k'di Shmuel da'amar Shmuel shinui v'ses b'tchilas chol yimei ayim. One who is intolerant, dato ketzara, of others acting against his will, and for the good-hearted it is always a feast. This is referring to one who is tolerant and accepts the actions of others. And Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi says, with regard to the verse, all the days of the poor are terrible, but aren't there Shabbos and festivals, when he rests and eats festive meals? This can be explained in accordance with that statement of Shmuel. As Shmuel says, a change in routine in terms of eating and rest causes the onset of an intestinal ailment due to the dramatic deviation on Shabbat from the poor person's routine that he suffers. Okay. Next, Tana Rabbanon, HaKoyer Pasuk Shir Shir Shirim, Voice Oesukim in Zemel, VeHaKoyer Pasuk Beves, Nishtois, Velois Manoi, Meviron Yoilam, Lifnei Shetorcha Yeres Esak, VeHamedes, Lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, VeHomeres Lefanav, Ribono Shel Olam, Asaruni Banecha Kekinor Shemenagnim Bo Leitzim. The sages taught in Ibraise, one who reads a verse from Song of Songs and renders it a form of secular song, not a sacred text, and one who reads any biblical verse at a banquet house, not at its appropriate time, but merely as a song, introduces evil to the world, as the Torah girds itself with sackcloth and stands before the Holy One, blessed be He, and says before Him, Master of the universe, your children have rendered me like a harp on which clowns play. Amar la biti b'shah she'oich l'mishoisim b'ma yasku Amar lefano ribono shel olam im ba'alei mikrahem yasku b'torah v'nim gzurim im ba'alei mishneh yasku b'mishneh Ba'alochois u'agadois V'im b'alei talmudei yasku b'ilchos Pesach b'Pesach v'ilchos etzeres b'etzeres v'ilchos Chag b'Chag Heyed Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar v'Shimon ben Chanina Kol ha'koreh pasuk mizmanoi Mevi toiv li'olam Shneimer v'davar be'ito matov V'davar be'ito matov. That's the verse that was quoted yesterday as I was coming from the airport. And it's really neat that it's in today's daf. Okay, very good. V'davar be'ito matov. See, the gematria of that is going to be 752. Which is actually equal to the 752 squares. It's another shot of the 752 squares. Okay? Let's continue. Let us continue. The Holy One, blessed be He, says to the Torah, my daughter, during the time that they are eating and drinking, in what should they be engaged? The Torah says before Him, Master of the universe, if they are masters of the Bible, let them engage in the study of the Torah, prophets, and writings. If they are masters of the Mishnah, let them engage in the study of the Mishnah, in the study of Halacha, and in the study of Agadah. If they are masters of the Talmud, let them engage in the study of the Halacha of the Passover on Passover, and in the study of the Halachot of Shavuot on Shavuot, and in the study of Halachot of Sukkot on Sukkot. They should not treat the Torah with contempt by using it for their own entertainment. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar testified in the name of Rabbi Shimon ben Chananya, and when he reads the Torah, a verse at its appropriate time, and in the appropriate manner, introduces good into the world, as it is stated, and a word in its season, how good is it? Proverbs 15:23. Rabbi Yochanan ברוקק בה לפי שאין מזכירין שם שמיים על הרקיקו. איתמר רב אמר אפילו נגד צרס. Rabbi Chanina אמר אפילו יקרא רבו משה. The Mishnah teaches that among those who have no share in the world to come is one who whispers invocations over a wound. Rabbi Yochanan says that in this case, only where he spits into the wound while he whispers, as one does not mention the name of heaven over spittle, and in doing so is an act of contempt for God. And I'm just reading the Talmud here. I'm not making any, statements whether I agree or not. I'm just saying what the Talmud says here. It was stated that Rav says, even the verse, when a leprous mark is in a man, then he shall be brought to the priest. Leviticus 13:9, in which there is no mention of the name of God, may not be whispered as an invocation. Rabbi Chanina says, even a verse that is unrelated to the specific illness in question, for example, and he called to Moses, Leviticus 1:1, may not be whispered as an invocation. Tanu Rabbanon Sakin Ubimashmin ומשמשין בבני מעיים בשבס ולא אוכלים לחישס נחושים הקרבים בשבס והרבן כלי על גב העין בשבס אמר רבי שמעון בן גמליאל במה דבר במורים בכלי הניטל אבל כלי שאינו ניטל אסור ואין שואלים בדבר שדים בשבת רבי יוסי אומר אף בכל אסור. Sages taught in Braise, one may smear oil on and rub the intestinal area on Shabbat to ease pain, and it is not prohibited as a form of healing. One may whisper incantations of snakes and scorpions on Shabbat to ease the pain of their bite. And one may pass a cool vessel upon the infected eye on Shabbat to soothe the inflammation. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says, in what case are these matters stated? They are stated in the case of a vessel. They may be moved on Shabbat. But with regard to a vessel that may not be moved, it is prohibited to pass it upon the infected eye on Shabbat. And one may not consult the words of demons on Shabbat. And Rabbi Yossi says, even during the weekday, it is prohibited to consult demons. Only Rabbi Yossi says that? Why doesn't everyone agree that it should be prohibited? I don't understand why only Rabbi Yossi says it's prohibited. You should never contact demons, ever. Period. Okay, anyway. Rav Huna. Ein halacha k'Rabbi Yossi. Rav Huna said the halacha is not like Rabbi Yossi. That even strengthens the question more so. Rabbi Yossi l'chomer el mishum sakana. Ki had Rav Yitzchak bar Yosef de'ibla be'arza ve'it abid le'nisa be'ka arza u'parte. Rav Huna said the halacha is in accordance with the opinion of Rav Yossi. Oh, it is. It's in. Oh, it's halacha Rav Yossi. The Gemara knows that even Rav Yossi did not say that it is due to the Torah prohibition of witchcraft that is prohibited during the week. Rather, it is prohibited due to danger, lest the demons harm him. This could happen as in my text here. It says in parentheses, "ain," but maybe it means "in," which means yes. Halacha keriosi. But if it's "ain," it means halacha is not like keriosi. So I can't tell. It's inconclusive from here. It has the word "ain." Yeah, it's "ain." It's not in. Maybe it's "in." Anyway, this could happen that as in the incident concerning Rabbi Yehoshua Yosef, who consulted a demon, as a result was swallowed into a cedar tree, and a miracle was performed for him, and the cedar split and expelled him. Okay. Tanu Rabbanan. What will was? Sechin Uma Shamshin Bnei Me'ay Shabbos. B'vad shelo yas kedech shehu ois b'chol. Hechi Avid. Rab Chava Michal Yoma. Sach v'achar kach m'shamshin mimashmesh Rabbi Yochanan Amar. Sach mashmesh bad achat. The sages had the Ba'isa. One may smear oil and rub the intestinal area in Shabbat, and it is not a forbidden form of healing, provided that he does not do so in the manner in which he does during the week. The Gemara asks, how then does one do so on Shabbat? Rabbi Chama, son of Rabbi Chanina, says, the first smears oil and afterwards rubs the body. And Rabbi Yochanan says, weiter, the sages found that Brisa, when they smear oil and rub the intestinal area on Shabbat, as it is not forbidden form of healing, provided that he does not do so in a manner in which he does so during the week. The Gemara asks, how does one do so on Shabbat? Rabbi Chama, the son of Chanina, says one first smears the oil and afterwards rubs the body. Rabbi Yochanan says one smears the oil and rubs the body simultaneously. Okay. Tanu Abanan. We learned that Rabbi says, Sari Shemen, Sari Beitzim, Tari Nishul Bahim. Ela b'bnei shema chazvin lo chashin al shemen shebechli ve'lo chashin al shemen shebiyad lefichach sakin meshemen shebiyad ve'en sakin meshemen shebechli. The sages taught in Brisa with regard to demons of oil and demons of eggs. What? What's that about? The demons consulted by means of oil and eggs, respectively. It is, okay, again, I make disclaimers all the time. This is not, I'm just reading the Talmud. I'm not endorsing or not endorsing, definitely not endorsing anything said here. It is permitted to consult with them. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't advise consulting any demons at any time. But it is futile to do so due to the fact that they deceive. Yeah, that's you shouldn't be anytime. Well, one may whisper an incantation for healing over oil that is in a vessel, and one may not whisper an incantation over oil that is in one's hand. Therefore, one may smear oil on his body from oil that is brought to him in another's hand, and there is no concern that perhaps someone whispered over it. And one may not smear oil that is brought to him in a vessel, as perhaps someone whispered over it, and it will cause him harm. Okay, Rabbi Yitzchak Shmuel bar Marta yiklelahu ushpiza. I see levish mishcha b'mana. Shav nafkule tzimchi b'yabe nafak l'shuka. Chazite ahu iteta. Amra zikat dechamas kachazina hacha. Avdale milta ve'etasi. The Gemara relates from Yitzchak bar Shmuel. Bar Marta happened to come to a certain inn, and they brought him oil in a vessel. He rubbed it on his face, and boils developed on his face. He went out to the marketplace, and a certain woman saw him and said, I see here the evil spirit of Hamat on your face. She performed an action, whispered an incantation, and it was healed. Okay. Amrile Rabbi Rabbi Barmari Kitiv Kol Mahamachala Asher Samti B'Mitzrayim Lo Asim Alecha Ki Ani Adonai Rofecha V'chi Me'achar Shelo Sam Rufua Lama Amrile Hachi Amar Rabbi Yochanan Mikra זה בעצמו נדרש שנאמר ויאמר אם שמוע תשמע לכל אדוני אלוהיך אם שמוע לא אשים ואם לא תשמע אשים אף על פי כן כי אני אדוני רופאך. Rabbi Abba said to Rabbi Mari that there is an apparent contradiction in the verse. It is written, all the disease that I placed in Egypt I shall not place upon you, for I am the Lord your healer, Exodus 15:26. And since God has not placed the disease upon the Jewish people, why is healing necessary? Rabbi Barmari said to him, Rabbi Mamara said to him, that this is Rabbi Yochanan says, this verse can be interpreted and the contradiction resolved from the contents of the verse itself, as it is stated. And he said, if you will diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord your God, Exodus 15:26. If you hearken to God's voice, I will not place the disease upon you. And if you do not hearken to God's voice, I will place the disease upon you. Nevertheless, if you do not hearken to the voice of God, and I place the disease upon you, know that I will heal you, for I am the Lord your healer. Okay, makes sense. Amar Rabbi Bar Chana, Keshachara Rabbi Eliezer, Nichnasu Talmido Levakro. אמר להם, כן מה על זה יש בעולם? התחילו הן בוכים, ורבי עקיבא משחק. אמר לו, למה אתה משחק? אמר להם, וכי מפני מה אתם בוכים? אמרו לו, אפשר ספר תורה שלוי בשר ולא נדחה? Rabbi Bar Chana says, when Rabbi Eliezer fell ill, his students entered to visit him. Rabbi Eliezer said to him, there is an intense wrath in the world, and it is due to the wrath of the Holy One, blessed be He, who is angry at His world that I am suffering from these afflictions. His students began to cry due to their teacher's suffering. Rabbi Akiva was laughing. They said to him, why are you laughing? Rabbi Akiva said to them, and for what reason are you crying? They said to him, is it possible that Rabbi Eliezer, who is as much an exemplar of Torah as a Torah scroll, is afflicted with a pain, and we will not cry? Amar lahem lekach ani misachek. Rabbi Akiva said to them, it is for that reason that I am laughing. Kol zman sheni roa Rabbi she'enyenu machmitz, ve'enu pishtanu lokeh, ve'shmanu mabish, ואין דובשנו מביש, אמרתי שמחס ושלום קיבל רבי עולמו. ועכשיו שאני רואה רבי בצער, אני שמח. אמר לו עקיבא, כלום חסרתי מן התורה כולה? אמר לו, לימדתנו רבנו, כי אדם אין צדיק בארץ אשר יעשה טוב ולא יחטא. Rabbi Akiva said to them, it is for that reason that I'm laughing. As long as I would see for my teacher that neither does his wine ferment and spoil, nor is his flax stricken, nor does his oil spoil, nor does his honey turn rancid, I would say to myself, perhaps, heaven forbid, my teacher has already received his reward in this world for the mitzvah that he fulfilled, and will not receive a reward in the world to come. But now that I see my teacher overcome with suffering, I am happy. He is receiving punishment in this world for the few transgressions that he might have committed, ensuring that he will receive a complete reward in the world to come. Rabbi Eliezer said to Akiva, have I failed to fulfill any portion of the entire Torah? Rabbi Akiva said to him, you taught us, our teacher. For there is not a righteous man upon the earth who does good and sins not. Ecclesiastes 7:20. Tanu abanan, tabanan lebraise. Kishchol Eliezer. נכנסו המזיקים לבגוי. Rabbi Tarfon, Rabbi Yehoshua, Rabbi Elazar ben Azari, Rabbi Kivo. The sages taught in Brisa, Rabbi Eliezer Filial, 4 sages entered to visit him. Rabbi Tarfon, Rabbi Yehoshua, and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, and Rabbi Kivo. None Rabbi Tarfon Rabbi. Tov atal Yisrael mitiba shel geshamim. Shetiba shel geshamim v'olam hazeh v'Rabbi v'olam hazeh u'v'olam habo. Rabbi Tarfon responded to the situation with words of encouragement and said, "You are better for the Jewish people than a drop of rain, as a drop of rain provides benefit in this world, and my teacher provides them benefit in this world and in the world to come." Nane Rabbi Yehoshua ve'omar toiv atal Yisrael yoisem migalgal chama shegalgal chama v'olam hazeh v'Rabbi ba'olam hazeh u'v'olam haba. Rabbi Yehoshua responded and said, "You are better for the Jewish people than the sphere of the sun, as the sphere of the sun provides benefit in this world, and my teacher provides benefit in this world and in the world to come." Now the Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah amar toiv atal Yisrael yoisem mi'avaim she'avaim ba'olam hazeh v'Rabbi ba'olam hazeh u'v'olam haba. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah responded and said, "You are better for the Jewish people than a father and a mother. As a father and a mother provide benefit in this world, and my teacher provides benefit in this world and in the world to come." Now the Rabbi Akiva, Amar Chavivin Yisurim, Amar Lehem Samchoni Veshma, Divrei Akiva Talmidi. שאמר חביבי ניסורי, אמר לא, עקיבא זה מניין לך, אמר מקרא אני דורש. בן 12 שנה, מנשה במלכו, ו55 שנה מלך בירושלים. וגומר, ויעש הרע בעיני השם. Rabbi Akiva responded and said, "Afflictions are cherished." When Rabbi Eliezer heard this, he said to his students, "Support me so I can sit and hear the statement of Akiva, my student, who said afflictions are cherished." Rabbi Eliezer said to him, "Akiva, from where do you derive this?" Akiva said, "I interpret a verse in order to derive it. It is written, Menashe was 12 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 55 years in Jerusalem. And he performed that which was evil in the eyes of the Lord." 2 Kings 21, 1 and 2. And it is written,